With all the Chrysos heirs we have in HSR, it's no secret that we've been blessed with absolute baddies. But have you ever wondered how much goon material they have under their name? Of course you haven't. That's why I'm here, your rank 1 goon savior. We'll be using the data from Asia's unholy archives to determine who the baddest Chrysos heirs are in Honkai Star Rail. The higher the goon material, the higher the rank, technically. Let's dive right in. Starting off this list at the number 10 spot, we have a character that took the player base by storm, our glorious King Mighty. Now, I typically steer clear away from male characters, but it's come to my attention that the more I ask my viewers to vote, the more I realize why tyrants do what they do. It's because democracy stinks. If your rank 1 husband in HSR is Mighty, chances are you have a remarkable taste in men. I don't need any goon material to know that Mighty is genuine peak.
The son of Gorgo will be crowned in blood!
Despite Mighty almost having 500 entries to his name, when I did the research and bore witness to a plethora of images and videos of Mighty getting absolutely destroyed by Finon, I knew what I was getting myself into. I'ma be honest though, I was expecting to see some Mighty and Castris content since I kind of shipped them together. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but chances of you seeing good Castris and Mighty content is the equivalent of finding a Black Ops Zombie Easter egg. While there are a couple of other yaoi pairings in there, I ain't gonna mention anything more than him and Finon since I'm not a fan of yaoi content. But if you are into that kind of material, buckle up, get gay, because the next character on this list is another man. The 1st of July in 2025, a moment in Honkai Star Rail history that got everyone at the edge of their seats. Coming in the number 9 spot, we have Finon with just a couple hundred more entries in Mighty. He also blessed us with top 10 animation shorts in HSR. Let me show you an example.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
If we're being honest though, the majority of Finon's entries are him giving backshots to Mighty, which are you even surprised about? Now you can take the blue pill and ship Mighty and Finon, or you can take the red pill and ship him with Cyrene. The choice is yours. Now let me glaze the photos between him and Cyrene. Surely, as a community, we can come together just this once, because there are a couple of entries that somehow used AI to tap into the official art style. And I'm not gonna hold you, Cuddy, but that shit was absolutely peak, like, unfortunately, this is the last time a man will be mentioned on this list since Anaxa didn't have enough entries to enter the top 10. Tributes to the woman, not the child. Relax. Now let's talk about the one thing I'm excited about on this list, the women. Oh my goodness. This woman, Heislins. I couldn't be more thankful that she saved a dying playstyle when she was released. Even though her story didn't have that much impact compared to the rest of the Amphorius cast, she was still given enough time to create a lasting impression on some people, like me. Let me give you a top 10 breakdown of all time. First off, her design, elite. Secondly, her stomach, giggity. Thirdly, this stare, that shit got me bricked. And last but not least, she could definitely snuff me out if she wanted to. Actually, let me make that 5. She plays an instrument, which means she has experience, if you know what I mean. It's a shame that Heislins was ranked at number 8 since she only had 1,124 entries. But as your local goon analyst, I did some digging into her content, and with my Batman level detective experience, it's time I shed some light on the Heislins Goon Society. To be a Heislins Gooner is the equivalent of being an Arkham Asylum patient, because what I bore witness to was a stream of content presenting Heislins either defeated, captured, humiliated, or all of the above. I have a question for the Heislins Gooners out there too. Would you still hit if it was like fish? Coming in at number 7, we have a petite woman that came, that saw, that conquered. We have Ceredra. Who would have guessed that giving you a character whose first appearance is slamming someone out of existence would have a lot of the players geeked? It also helps that she is a character that's more than capable of sliding you, the Trailblazer. Since Honkai Star Rail is a game that lacks petite women that are of age, the way Ceredra's character was portrayed in the 3.5 story was a complete 180 from the rest of the Amphorius cast. However, what took me by surprise was that she's only higher than Heislins by 30 entries. Maybe flat is justice. Even though Ceredra is presented as a character that's in definite need of correction, her content in the Pixiv archives are a lot more tame compared to the rest of the characters on this list. Let's keep it moving, people. If you haven't clicked off the video yet, I apologize, this character is ranked here. But like I said, these aren't based on opinion, they're objectively ranked. We have Evernight though.
She is very gorgeous! gorgeous to me!
Being at number 6 is what probably caught most of you by surprise though. Now considering the negative reactions I had to admitting I'd hate Goon to March, I want to reach out to the March 7th Goon Society and ask if we can all agree that March 7th and Evernight are both absolute baddies. Like I want to see you two scissor. But the sugar on the cream to Evernight's character is the yandere vibe she has going on. And you know how I love my crazy women. Like god damn! At the time this is being recorded, Evernight currently has 1,500 photos to her name. And I'ma keep it a B with you, man. While I did say last video her photos are exquisite, you have to dig deep for it. Now, I personally found it a bit disappointing that we didn't get to spend much time with Evernight, but I can see why. Because if we did, I wouldn't be able to contain myself, and I would have been cracking her with no lube, no protection, all night, all day, from the kitchen floor to the toilet sink, from the bathroom sink to the shower. Shut your freaky ass up. Oh man, sorry, I got carried away. At the halfway point, we have a character with a couple hundred more entries than Evernight. We have Aglaya. Before I go over about how bad Aglaya is, we need to take a moment to appreciate her character in the 3.5 story. Because oh my lord, the difference between Aglaya's past self compared to the way she is now is complete night and day. And honestly, it's a shame we didn't get to spend enough time with her because the grace, the optimism, the sass, I'd love to have a golden experience with you. However, we cannot forget about the current, the emotionless Aglaya, as she is quite possibly what most people are down bad for. With my elite analytical skills, a particular scene stood out to me when she tied up the Trailblazer and Dan Hung before interrogating them.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
It came to my attention that I'd also be tied up while tanking golden backshots from her. Another detail we cannot ignore is how Aglaya power crept the milker and armpit details of other characters such as Himiko and Jingliu. Grandpa, was power creep in Honkai Star Rail really that bad? Oh my dear boy, if you saw how they gutted Himiko, you'd be carrying the same disappointment as me. Aglaya's entries were a lot more tame than I initially expected because the chances of you seeing Aglaya giving backshots to anyone is the equivalent of finding a Naxa artwork of him being anything else but a femboy. So pretty much, you aren't gonna find anything. Coming in number 4 as one of the baddest Chrysos Heirs in Honkai Star Rail, we have Cypher. Cat's out of the bag, but she only has 39 more entries than Aglaya. The way Cypher was handled in the 3.3 story by creating the biggest lie ever told was quite possibly elite levels of cooking by the story team. What took me by surprise though is how her entire back is out when she's in combat. Don't mind if I do. When the big bad of Amphorius at the time, the Flame Reaver, decided to hurt our glorious Queen Cypher, I clenched my fist like I was ready to step in. I'm gonna be walking up towards him like, hey, only I'm allowed to do that to her. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but there's probably something psychologically wrong with me if you consider how I treat my women. Let's be serious for a moment though. If you watch my tier list videos, you'd know I didn't have the greatest impression on Cypher, but after rewatching the cutscenes and going through some artwork, I understand the appeal of this character now. I'm sorry, Pookies, that's on me. Also, every artist watching this video, hear me out. Aries! Give me more Cypher fan art, and my life is yours. In third place, we have absolute peak lined up. We have Hyacinth. I'm gonna keep it a B. Any Hyacinth goon material I bear witness to makes me want to become a better man, which gives me even more reason to ruin her. As of right now, Hyacinth currently has almost 2,000 photos to her name. As a man that immediately folds to any mature pink-haired character, Hyacinth was no exception. But what sealed the deal for me was this one scene with Aglaya, Tribi, and Hyacinth. Oh my god, when I first bore witness to this scene, I immediately knew I was going to give her at least 5 kids. Respectfully though, to understand how peak this character truly is, you need to imagine yourself in a scenario where you're getting busy with Hyacinth. She'd definitely be 100% committed, so much so that it becomes competitive. It no longer becomes casual, but it becomes ranked. Stay with me here. Now, what if you were drained of your energy completely and Hyacinth, as a healer, rejuvenates you to a point where you can continue for a few more rounds? Wouldn't she just keep healing you over and over until she completely domesticates you? Oh my god, and her sweat, she must smell like a hospital environment and taste like coughing syrup medicine.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, I gotta watch what I say about Cyrene or my channel is a bit cooked. But hear me out. You know what would make Cyrene even hotter? If she still had the brain damage as Mem. Imagine every time that you're getting busy with Cyrene, she would screech out at the top of her lungs, "Memmy, mem, 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 mem." As of right now, Cyrene currently has 2,600 entries under her name. And boy, the things I have to tell you about the content, because the more I do these kind of rankings, the more I realize how unhinged some gooners are. And you know what? I respect that. We all bleed red and we all goon white. While I personally enjoyed the 3.7 story, we cannot ignore the elite milkers that Cyrene has. Brother in Christ, she's carrying 33 million's worth of milk. No Eon will ever separate my mouth from them. The photos, on the other hand, were a lot more tame than I initially expected, considering how much Firefly gooners love watching their waifu get destroyed by a 6'4" Aquarius. Cyrene's entries didn't include that kind of content as much. Considering all the Chrysos heirs we've ranked so far, this one shouldn't surprise anyone. In first place, coming in as the official Baddest Chrysos heir in HSR, we have Castris. And it was no competition either, since she has a number of 3,700 entries under her name. While I do favor Castris more than Firefly in both design and story, I can assure you that this shot right here was absolutely essential to keeping up with Starreal.
For the love of God!
She'd probably be a 9 out of 10 girlfriend too, since she's very much into physical contact, but unlike you freaks out there with diabolical intents, Castris and I would be hand-holding instead. The photos of Castris I went through were surprisingly decent, but less spicy compared to characters like Firefly and Cyrene. It's come to my attention that canonically, we are never going to touch Castris without decaying, but that isn't going to stop me from leading the charge. Gooners and goonettes, there you have it. We have officially ranked all the Chrysos heirs in Honkai Starreal. If you're new to the channel and you're wondering why aren't I using the Western source of goon material, I ain't gonna say anything. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.